Hello book lovers and welcome to Book Talk Radio Club. My name is Claire Perkins and today I'm talking to author James Peters. James fell in love with science fiction at a young age, becoming hooked on the works of Asimov, Anderson and Pohl among many others, as well as the mixed bag of anything labelled science fiction on television or at the movies. He writes with a gritty blend of character-driven action, wry humour and social commentary that transports the reader through wild worlds of speculative fiction. Today we're going to be talking about Cold Cosmos, a fun and epic space opera science fiction story. Think Cowboys and Aliens meets Farscape and Firefly with a hint of Hitchhiker's Guide and some Orville. Hi James, first of all welcome and thank you for coming on Book Talk Radio Club.
Thank you. Welcome.
James, would you like to give Book Talk Radio Club's listeners a brief synopsis of Cold Cosmos, please?
Yes, Cold Cosmos is a space opera style science fiction tale told through the eyes of our heroes who's from the American West in 1895. He gets himself involved protecting what he thinks is a Native American girl, but it turns out she's not what you'd call from around here, meaning an alien skinwalker, meaning she can change into a bear-like beast to feed or under times of extreme duress. They escape together on her ship to a galaxy filled with technicolor aliens, cosmos devoid of humans. Our hero finds himself alive and embedded in this galaxy. It's up to him to navigate this new surrounding without losing his humanity.
Okay, so the story starts off in Colorado in the year 1895 with Idiom Lee, sat atop his horse Leroy, looking for somewhere to stay and a bit of food and drink. I have to ask, why the name Idiom Lee?
Well, that's a great question. That name actually came to me long before I even had the storyline plotted. Whenever I have downtime or are commuting somewhere, my mind will wander, and one day I got to thinking about the memorable heroes, the ones that we remember in movies, TV shows, or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking of Buck Rogers, Flash Gordon, of course, Indiana Jones. And all of those names follow that same pattern of an unusual first name followed by a common last name. And I started making a mental list of names that I liked for a hero, and Idiom Lee became the winner. That's what popped in my head, and I said, I really like that name, Idiom Lee.
So what kind of man is Idiom Lee? Tell me about his character.
Well, Idiom is intelligent for his time and where he's from. From the Colorado area in 1895. He does consider himself a good man. He carries a Bible that his father gave him in his breast pocket. And it's bookmarked at page 10, and that's as far as he's gotten to reading it. So he's not overly religious, but he does try, when he has time. Mm-hmm. And he tells himself often, I'm going to finish reading this book someday, and he probably never will. He carries a pair of Colt 45s on his hips, Derringer in one boot, and a knife in the other. And he knows that the only way to win at poker fair and square is to cheat better than the next guy. And he's practiced at hiding cards. He would not hesitate to put a bullet through a bad guy's head when needed, but he is haunted and remorseful when he's forced to kill a pair of misguided kids that are gunning for him. He carries a sense of optimism with him and believes in protecting the innocent and powerless.
And what about the other characters? I see on the book cover you have a woman in a spacesuit, a guy with a cloak and hat, and a very large, ferocious-looking rhinoceros-type creature.
Yeah, it's an interesting cover, isn't it? Jen is the woman. That's his name for her. She's the girl that he meets on Earth that can change into the horrible beast. She's untrusting of him or really of anyone, and he has to earn her respect one step at a time. The fellow with the cloak and the hat in the background is Roldan. He's a shade, and which is a species that is untrusted throughout the galaxy by most everybody because he's considered unnatural. He can stop your heart with the touch of a finger. He's kind of a Grim Reaper type character. Okay. There's actually a scientific explanation for this, which you have to read the story, but it does make sense. The Rhino guy is Jekto, and he is just a blaster right for. He's always ready to rush into battle. Loves to smash head, rip limbs off of his enemies with joy. He loves that fight. He's also a braggart. He's also he's very loyal in his own sense, but he forgets things fairly quickly. So he's just fun to work with. We also have on the cover a sloth cat hybrid creature that is just much superior to all the other creatures that we just asked him. Idiom calls this creature Slowhand, and he's always got an insult ready for a hero, and he's very good at strategy and has the ability to phase matter together, twisting molecules together until they lock into one form. This is a very handy skill that he has when you need to repair something and their ship needs to be repaired or lost.
You have an amazing imagination.
Well, thank you.
So what type of reading audience is Cold Cosmos aimed at?
Well, I would say anyone that likes action, humor, and adventure. I write in the style that I love to read, and that means you're not going to read pages of descriptions about the silverware and the drapes. It's fast action, it's fun. I'd say anyone who likes Farscape, Firefly, Star Wars, Trek, any of those are going to like it. Cold Cosmos, I've kept the language pretty clean, so I'd say they'd be a PG-13 book. There's a little bit of body function humor here and there. Case in point is the rhino guy poops cannonballs. That's the kind of stuff. Yeah.
Cold Cosmos is a space opera and also a science fiction western. What is space opera and what is a science fiction western?
Great question. Space opera goes back to the Flash Gordon series. That's probably the first time that we saw what we would consider space opera. Right. You have a relatively easy means of space travel. You've got rocket ships that can go beyond the speed of light, go from one galaxy to the other, one planet to the other. But we have a hero to follow, and it's melodramatic adventures, oftentimes with some romance involved. And it also has an episodic element, which means each story has a closure for that immediate need. You may have an overall arc that carries from one story to the next, but we know in one story if he's trying to save one person from the bad guy, he's going to save that person by the end of the episode.
Right.
If you think about the original Star Trek series, that was one of the first TV series that was considered space opera. It was kind of like a wagon train in space, if you think about it.
Yeah.
You could watch any one episode in any order and not be lost. We knew who the players were. We knew what was going to go on. You knew kind of at the end of the episode that things would be reset. You might lose a couple red shirts, but just, you wouldn't lose any of the main characters.
Right.
That, to me, is a good definition of space opera. We know the heroes are going to win in the end. We know that the good guys are going to be okay, but you have this episode of adventure and excitement and fun stuff that happens. As far as the science fiction western goes, I'd say that Firefly is the primary example of that. I mean, in that series, they literally had a train robbery episode. And, people love that idea of the western elements in space.
So Cold Cosmos, is it a one-off or the first in a series? And if so, and if it's a series, how many do you intend to write in it?
Great question. This is definitely a series. Book 2 is currently in the works. I'm about 45% done with it. I have the rough outline for many, many more books in this universe. There are elements, I'll tell you, that are introduced in that first book that are only hinted at, but will become important in the future books. There's mentions about the crystal threat. That's something that you only get hints at in the first book or two, but as it goes on, that becomes a bigger issue.
Right.
For the time being, though, I'd say I've got about 10 books that I'm expecting to write.
Wow.
What I want to create is something that would be like the series that you watch on a television, or a series you pick up and read one book and then pick up another and read it and just continue with it. I don't know there has to be an end on this. It could be 20 books, could be 30 books, or 50. Who knows?
Depends how far your imagination takes you, huh?
Yes.
Your book is available for Kindle and in paperback as well as audiobook. Did you narrate it or did you hire someone to do it for you?
No, I had the luck of connecting early on with the outstanding voice actor, David Swanson. A fantastic guy, fantastic talent. He's recorded all of my audiobooks, and he's just wonderful to work with, and he keeps getting better. I notice every book he records just gets a little bit sharper. His characters just get more real the more he does.
I know, because I listen to audiobooks more than I actually pick up a Kindle or pick up a paperback. I mean, I love listening to audiobooks, and the narrator can really make or break a book. I mean, a book can be brilliant, but if you've got a rotten narrator or rotten actor, then it's going to spoil it. So I'm really pleased. That's great for you.
Yeah, it works out great.
Why did you decide to go down the audiobook route then, as well as paperback and Kindle?
Well, to begin with, it was kind of experimental. I had a good friend that was writing, and he was interested in Audible and told me all about it. And I thought, well, that sounds like fun, you know. At the time, I had written Black Swan Planet and thought, well, we'll try it on Audible. Like I said, I lucked into meeting up with David Swanson. He did it. He did a great job. And in fact, that Audible market has become my biggest selling tool these days.
Oh, right.
I sell probably 3 times as many books on Audible than I do in paperback.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I have always loved good science fiction, and I'm an avid Star Trek watcher, a fan of Gene Roddenberry, definitely a visionary. Was there one particular book that made you go wow and decide to start writing? Did you have kind of one of those moments?
Well, as a kid, I read a lot of science fiction. I was also kind of a sickly kid. I ended up with pneumonia just about every year for about 8 years in a row. So I was in the hospital and read a lot. Really got hooked on the works of Isaac Asimov. Loved his robot series. And then I went on to read everything that he had that was available at the library, which led me into his other series. I'm trying to think what it was called right now. I just can't remember. It doesn't matter. But anyway, somewhere in that series, there was one book, probably The Caves of Steel, that I read that made me think, I want to do this. I want to be a writer. I want to be an author.
Right. Well, let's touch briefly on your other book series, the Black Swan books. These are described as over-the-top and in-your-face hilarious romps through the galaxy. Let's hear about book 1, Black Swan Planet, and then book 2, Black Swan Antithesis.
Alrighty. First, I'll say these are definitely more of an adult-style book. It's a lot more harsh language in it. It's more of if you like the Deadpool type humor,
right,
this is the type of the book you're gonna like.
Okay.
This series follows a bumbling private investigator. He's not a private investigator. He's like an investigative reporter. He works in the Galactic Empire. His name is Raka Barul. He stumbles upon an Imperial scandal that's large enough to bring down the Emperor himself. And he escapes with the help of a drug runner, a dominatrix, and a monkey wearing assless chaps. Like I said, this is not a story for the kids. Though it has a monkey in a spacesuit on the cover. There's definitely adult humor in there. I've had a few people write to me and say, how did you, are you crazy, and how did you come up with the shower seat? That's all I'll leave you with.
All right, my mind's boggling already.
It does have to do with him and the monkey, so we'll leave it at that. Anyway, they escape to a long-forgotten barbarian world that's known locally as Earth, and they land sometime in the 1950s. So he is from the Galactic Empire that's way advanced. They've got space travel. They've got faster-than-light travel. He lands in 1950s Earth. Here, Raka has to lie low and survive. In the process, he gets into a lot of trouble. Have a lot of fun with that. He eventually starts to realize, though, that the technology of Earth is advancing at an unnatural speed. And the only thing that explains that, what's kicked off the digital revolution, is that the Imperial technology is getting leaked on Earth. And he's separated from the others that he came to Earth with, so he suspects that at least one of the two of them are selling this technology and advancing Earth's tech. Mm-hmm. So he realizes after a while that's going to make Earth a threat to the Galactic Empire because they're not loyal to the Empire, so he has to do something about it. So at the end of that book, he stops the initial threat of the Galactic Empire coming back, and then in book 2, in Black Swan Antithesis, he has to go back and basically become the antithesis of what he was in book 1. In book 1, he laid low and was a very Very subdued character. I mean, a bumbling fool, but subdued. He tried to stay under the radar. In this one, he had to learn to become the face of the operation. He had to become cool. He studied James Bond. He studied karate. He studied all these things. He learned how to play cards, how to win at the casino. He became the face of the operation, and he basically became a big-headed jerk. Which makes sense because he's that type of a character.
Right.
So events came to happen, and he had to be brought back down to earth, so to speak. And then he pulled his team back together. Once he got basically his legs taken out from under him, then he pulls his team back together. And then he realizes at the end of that book that he's got to take the fight to the Empire. So book 3 is going to close out that trilogy, and that is called Black Swan Empire. And that's going to be, like I said, the final chapter of that trilogy, and I'm working on that currently.
Ah, right. Well, congratulations, James. I see you're receiving some great reviews for Cold Cosmos, including, wow, I love reading it. Reads easy, like a smooth bourbon, and is satisfying. I can't wait for the next one. I love that review. And I'm hooked, and I cannot wait for the next instalment in this series. Also, opened the book this morning and finished it before dinner. Non-stop action and great character development. Tell me, James, what was the best moment for you? The first sale or the first review, and why?
Well, I'll tell you, by the time I've launched a book, I'm at the point that I almost hate it because I've read it so many times. I've done so many edits. I've been through it just dozens of times, and nothing's new to me. I've probably also listened to it on Audible, the changes and the recording of it several times as well. So I'm done with it. But when I get that first review, and it was 5 stars, and it was very positive, I felt that chill go down my spine. And that's when I know I've connected with readers. And that's when I realized that some of the things I've written, some of those words are actually good. And that's the best moment that I can think of as an author, is getting that review.
I know, it's such a good feeling because I know with the interviews I do and the marketing that I do, and I just do it because I enjoy doing it, but sometimes you have to remove yourself from it. And then I see the reviews that I get, and I'm so thrilled, and it makes me realise what I'm actually doing is good. It's actually good. It's like you say the words are good. It's like, oh my God, this is actually working, and it's good. It's helping people.
Someone enjoyed this. Yes, yeah, that is wonderful.
So where can Book Talk Radio Club's listeners purchase Cold Cosmos and, of course, your other books?
Well, all the books are available through Amazon and through Audible. The easiest thing, though, that you could do is, don't worry about searching through it there. Just go to your favorite search engine, whether that's Google or whatever search engine you use, and you can type in Cold Cosmos or Black Swan Planet, and from there you'll see reviews pop up. You'll see the links to the Amazon pages, etc. You'll see the links to the Audible downloads. Also, if you're on Facebook, you can do a search for Black Swan Planet. It's Black Swan Planet, James Peters author page. Give it a like. I keep my links in there. I keep fun stuff in there. I don't do a whole lot of self-promotion. Every once in a while, if I've got a new book coming out or something, I'll put it out there. But I do a lot of fun stuff on that Facebook page. So go out there and give it a like as well.
All right. Well, thank you, James. That was great. Please come back on Book Talk Radio Club again when you publish your next book, and I'd love to chat with you and hear more. In the meantime, good luck for the future, and thank you, everyone, for listening to Book Talk Radio Club. Thanks very much, James.
Thank you very much, Claire.
My pleasure. Bye now.
Bye-bye.